I think we've done this extremely well with Microsoft over the years. We are natively integrated in the Azure console, and we are inspiring to do the same with AWS and Google Cloud.
Microsoft's purpose is in service of your purpose.
And again, 2024 is the year that partners come out as the leading edge of the spear on finding this buyer intent.
You show up to every meeting and demonstrate why you are relevant.
Every day I have to force myself to make sure that I'm taking one step ahead in terms of my own learning.
That flywheel of success is where you will build momentum, and that momentum will continue, and then you feed into the other systems to say, this is what we did, this is how we did it together.
Welcome back to The Ultimate Guide to Partnering. I'm Vince Menzione, your host, and my mission is to empower leaders like you to achieve your greatest results through successful partnering. At Ultimate Guide to Partnering, we bring you the leaders driving this transformation, the best in the business, and the award-winning partners. Today, I'm excited to spotlight one of the pinnacle partners in our industry and one of its leaders. Laurent Mechain is the VP of Cloud at Elastic, an award-winning partner on all three of the hyperscalers. Laurent, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Vince. Very happy to be here.
So excited to have you in the studio here in Boca Raton.
Yeah.
All the way from Seattle.
It's lovely, hot and warm in Florida compared to Washington State, but it's great to be here.
Well, we won't talk about the weather, but you do have great summer weather in Washington State.
Yeah, from July 4th until Labor Day.
Yeah, July 5th, everyone tells me. Day after 4th of July, it gets nice out. Well, you and I got to know each other a little bit better this year.
Yeah.
You participated with me. We had the privilege of having you join me in a cloud marketplace conversation at the Channel Partners event. That was back in March already. Can't believe it.
Yeah.
We were supported by Google, Daivu from Google, Ryan Walsh from Pax8, and yourself, for this conversation really about helping organizations better understand marketplace moment and how they need to lean in. And these were organizations that are not really in the hyperscaler world, in the purview that we talk about, but just that really rich conversation that we had. So I'm really glad that you and I get this time for this deep dive today.
Thank you.
Your organization is an incredible organization. We'll talk more about your rise to success. But first, for our viewers and for our listeners, maybe a little bit more about you, your role, and Elastic.
Yeah. So thank you. So great to be here. I'm lovely to spend a few minutes with you today. So my name is, in French, people say Laurent Mechain. In English, people say Laurent Mechain. You pick the one you want. I've been living in the US for almost 20 years now.
Wow.
So I know that my accent will never go away. But I worked in cloud companies for a very long time. Spent almost 17 years at Microsoft, got the chance to work at AWS, and joined Elastic about 4 years ago to lead what we call the Strategic Alliances team, which includes, of course, a partnership with Hyperscalers. Elastic is, I'm going to try to keep it simple as we get started, but what we do is we enable everyone to find the answers they need with data at speed and at scale. So we enable customers to really make the most of all their data and find real-time answers to the questions using the power of search, AI, and analytics. And I know we're going to talk more about this today, and especially around AI.
And what is different about Elastic's view on search and what you do in your customer persona than just general search as we know it today?
Well, I think, general search, what we used to know is around keyword search.
Yeah.
You go online, you say, okay, let's search something that calls, a car or a device that you want to buy. And search has been for a long time anchored around just keyword search.
Yes.
But it's not enough. I think today people want more. It's not just about search. It's what I call relevance. I think
search.
Today it's more relevance than just search. And when you think about relevance, you think about what we call semantic search, when you can start in connecting context with each other to bring much more better response to customer search in a more complex way, right? You need to be able to search in your own language, Franglish, like I do, but you need to be able to do this with something that brings more and more quality of answers to your queries.
And what are the typical use cases and personas of people that use your platform?
Well, we have two ways to use Elastic today. The first one is we have what I call out-of-the-box solutions that customers use every day. The first one is around Elastic. It's called Elastic Observability. So people use it for use cases like log analytics, like application performance monitoring, like metrics. All of this is around the domain of observability, and that's the first use case that when customers choose to use Elastic, that's usually the one that we see the most adopted today.
And the buying personas in the technology sector?
It's most of our users
Developers?
are technologies, developers, DevOps, security operations. They're in this technical space. The second out-of-the-box solution that we have is around security.
Okay.
What we call security information and event management SIEM, endpoint management of all the security data points that you can collect with. So we have two out-of-the-box solutions where customers can bring the data into Elastic. And the third component, which is more a platform, it's search. And customers can use Elastic to really build and custom their search applications. And we have hundreds of customers that started with this. This is our historical platform. When we were born about 12 years ago, it's, to build a founder, couldn't find an application to help him find a recipe on the internet and decided to write an application for this. And this is how Elasticsearch was born.
So, we talk about AI, the role of AI, the importance of AI, this AI moment. How is what you do differently, or are you embedding AI into this as well?
Well, because search and data is what we do, it's been a very easy transition. And we were able to react very quickly to what, the revolution that happened about 18 months ago.
Right.
We've been using machine learning, technologies for a long time. The core of our technology that we call Elasticsearch has been AI ready for a long time. But really what we do today, in the world of Gen AI is combining the large publicly trained model, what we call LLMs, and now we learned a new acronym last week at Microsoft Build called SLM, or domain-specific language models, with the data that customers bring into Elasticsearch. They don't want this data to be in the public domain. So we use the power of Elastic to combine enterprise data in a secure way with the power of LLMs and SLMs. And that's something that we've been ready for many years.
It's fascinating. We are thrilled to announce our partnership with InPartner Software, the world's leading provider of partner management technologies. Serving over 4 million partners globally, InPartner excels in delivering cutting-edge solutions for partner relationship management and partner marketing automation. Their robust platform offers essential tools like program compliance tracking, customizable partner journeys, and comprehensive business planning. These features empower partner teams to swiftly transition from program design to achieving maximum value. InPartner is dedicated to supporting partner ecosystems everywhere and continues to innovate with new modules like Analytics Studio, designed to help track and maximize the ROI of your partner program. For more information, visit InPartner.com. So you've been recognized by all three hyperscalers. I think this might be a distinction. I don't know if any others have this distinction as an ISV, independent software vendor, but multiple times now you've been Partner of the Year award winner, Microsoft's Partner of the Year award winner, Google's Partner, AWS, each of them multiple times now. Tell us a bit more about that success and what you believe it takes to be an award-winning partner.
Well, first of all, it's always an honor to be recognized by hyperscalers. It speaks volume to the quality of our engagement we have, but the way we look at it is across 3 dimensions. The first one is around what I call the build side. Is we want to build the best integration with their first-party services. We want to create integrations that are differentiated, uniquely positioned to the market. That creates something that not every competitor as with Elastic, between Elastic and the cloud providers. I think we've done this extremely well with Microsoft over the years. We are natively integrated in the Azure console, and we are inspiring to do the same with AWS and Google Cloud. The second level is really around how we create this differentiation into better together story. So it's the market side, how we go to market with the hyperscalers. This is really where we work with marketing teams. And the first dimension is more with our product teams, and how we create the demand engine around these differentiations that develop in the first place. But at the end of the day, the rubber is the road when we sell together. And then we go together to our customers, and then we bring the value of Elastic Cloud running on any of these clouds, and turn this into growth engines for all companies.
We've been talking about the tectonic shifts. This 1/3 of $1 trillion in durable cloud budgets now. It's astounding, right? You and I were both at Microsoft at the same time. We were talking about earlier about the Bomber years and the Satya Nadella years and the Bill G years. What are you seeing now that's different during this time and this marketplace opportunity, this huge untapped market? I know you're on a tear. You just recently had an earnings report and it was very successful. So tell us more about what you're seeing. What's your view here?
Well, I think, there's something that's driving all of this is data. I think customers, if you think about all the primes that customers are trying to solve today, it all goes to data. Data for elevating customer experiences, data for, improving operational resiliency, data for, mitigating security risk.
I was just thinking about that one, right?
Priority number one.
Yep.
When you think about data, I was reading something from IDC the other day. IDC predicts by the end of 2025, each day, 400 exabytes of data will be produced every day around the world. And I can't even materialize how much data that is.
How often are we doubling now our data?
I don't know, but
it used to take years, right? It used to take years.
Yeah. So you can't make sense of this data with just what you have today. And this is where generative AI and AI comes into play. You can't really extract the value and insights of this data without the help of AI and search. And this is where we are uniquely positioned. Yesterday during the conference, you talked about 100 million users of ChatGPT in less than 2 months.
Crazy.
We talked about the hundreds of millions of jobs that are going to be disrupted by AI. And the hundreds of millions of new opportunities that we're going to see in the market.
That's right.
All this technology shift that we're going to see around productivity, automation, all of this creates really the need for everybody to react. I was blown away, but the amount of innovation I saw from Google Cloud at the next conference in April, and what Microsoft announced at Build last week. And really for partners, it's really about being ready to adopt, to embrace these changes, being able to transform quickly. And for Elastic, it comes up around a few things. It's innovation first. We're a product company, we're a technology company. So we focus on innovation. We announced our first integrations around Gen AI in April last year.
Nice.
During Microsoft Build in 2023. We announced some integrations with Azure OpenAI. And since then, it's been incredible focus for the company. In the past 12 months, we announced new technologies like we call something the Elasticsearch Relevance Engine. I was talking about combining the power of publicly trained data with private data. That's what we allow customers to do this. We launched our own assistants. So now for observability and security or two out-of-the-box solution, customers can use AI assistants to accelerate the resolution of their search with Elastic. It doesn't stop. We announced new query languages called Elastic's Query Language, EQL, to really accelerate the finding and querying data, with all the volume of data we have.
Is that would you embed that in your code as an example? Would you use that query?
And customers can use it. And this is something that they asked for years in order for us to really query the data in a faster way. But for us also, it's not just about the how we address these challenges. It's not just about the product side. We talked about marketplaces before and our success with marketplaces. And, we created this marketplace first initiative at Elastic a few years ago. And it's a company-wide effort, from product to finance to sales to partner and marketing, because we wanted to make sure that we could meet customers where they want to buy, deploy, and manage Elastic. Just to give you some figures that led to some of the awards we just talked about. In 2021, less than 10% of our cloud business, Elastic Cloud, was transacted via cloud marketplaces. In the last quarter, which we reported yesterday during earnings, we were at 47%.
47%. So you're in the top of the tier there, really, because we were talking about organizations getting into past that 20% threshold.
Yeah. And we got there by thinking about a very simple winning formula.
And what is it?
Well, we want our sellers to sell all cloud offering. I think this is where customers get the most value for investments into Elastic. That's for Elastic sellers. For Hyperscaler sellers, it's all about selling cloud and selling cloud commitments to their end customers. And we know that the total backlog, what we call total spend commitments from Hyperscaler, is now $340 billion. And I think it grew almost 50% since last year.
Yes.
So when you sell cloud and it retires commitment, well, the best place to buy this for customers is via marketplaces, because marketplaces bring some benefits about burning down these commitments.
Yes.
So it's a winning formula for customers because they retire their commitment, they burn it down. It's for Hyperscalers because it drives consumption, and for Elastic because we sell our cloud offering.
And how do you drive more consumption of the cloud? Because of all the data that's involved?
For us, it's a very simple model for customers. They pay, we don't sell these solutions one by one. Customers invest in Elastic. We pay it on resources and storage and data. So it's more about the resources they need to run all their workloads, more than the use cases that they deploy Elastic for.
Yeah. And you have the ability to just work on public data as well as their enterprise data.
That is correct. So Elastic, the ingest of the data we bring into Elastic, which is the starting point, can come from any sources.
Okay.
It can come from on-premise, which we're not born as a cloud company. When we were born in 2012, we know a lot of our usage was on-prem, and we still have a lot of customers using on-prem. I think yesterday we shared that about 40 to 44% of revenue comes from cloud. So we're almost at the 50% mark.
Yeah.
But we see more and more cloud adoption as well.
Interesting.
Across all clouds. So customers can use Elastic. Single customers can have sources of data coming from on-prem or any clouds of their choice.
It's a fantastic growth and trajectory of your organization. We have quite a few partners watching, listening to this podcast. They want to learn how to get to your Pinnacle level. Like, what advice to builders, I refer to ISVs sometimes as builders, and other partners looking to accelerate their success during this incredibly transformative time?
I'm old, and sometimes I'm thinking that my ability to learn new things is declining every year. But I think AI and all this world transformation is going to require a lot of reskilling. I was blown away like last week at Microsoft Build. I realized that I could become a developer again. I was a software engineer when I graduated from school. I wasn't very good at it. And then I realized that suddenly I could write a ton of code by just, speaking to a machine. But I think the reskilling element is going to be, is very important. I think there's a new partner ecosystem that's really reforming around AI. And the speed of transformation is crazy. So what does that mean is all the partners are going to reinvent themselves. And some of them are ready, others are not. But they're going to reinvent themselves, or they can, take benefit of all this technology that's coming up.
It's a fascinating time. It's a fascinating journey that you've been on as well. So, Laurent, I'd love to pivot. I have a favorite question I'd love to ask each of my guests. You're hosting a dinner party, and you can host this dinner party anywhere in the world. Maybe Seattle in the summer. We could talk about other locations. Maybe France. South of France, possibly.
Southwest of France.
Southwest of France, even better. And you can invite any 3 guests from the present or the past to this amazing dinner party. Whom would you invite and why?
That's a tough question, but if you look at me, you wouldn't believe it, but I'm actually a sports geek.
Nice.
I used to do lots of sports when I was young, and I
favorite sport?
Favorite sports. Since I moved to the US, it's American football.
American football.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to tell me real football.
No. I use the word soccer for real football now. But I discovered American football when I moved to the US, and
nice.
So I love sports.
Favorite team?
Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle Seahawks.
Go Hawks.
Well, you know, we've had Mike Gervais on the podcast 4 times, who was the hype, and you knew Mike from your time at Microsoft
that's right,
as well. Yeah.
So I think it's a good question. I'm probably going to stay in the domain of sports, if you don't mind. And you know, I think the first one that comes to mind is Muhammad Ali. You know, I think legendary boxer, an amazing career in boxing. I remember at Microsoft he was showing the fight he has with against Joe Frazier in Zaire in Africa.
Yes.
You know, Ali Boumaier. You know, I think it's not really doesn't translate very well because it was Ali killed him. But it was just a fantastic sports legend. But I think for me, what really is important is all these guests at my dinner relate to my values.
Yeah.
And when I think about Muhammad Ali, I think it was his fight during his life for justice and equality.
Yes.
And this is something that I admire for what he's done for the African American communities and everything around the world.
And he fought hard over, it was very unpopular war going on in the United States. A lot of young people were going over and fighting in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm not going to go. I mean, and that was, he was shunned. He was shunned from his sport. His title was taken away.
That's right.
Fought.
Amazing story.
Yeah.
So that's my guess number 1. Number 2, and this one, it's Pete Carroll. So
Pete Carroll.
Yeah, so Pete Carroll is still with us.
Yes.
He was the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks until last season. But I think what I like with Pete is not just, he brought the first Super Bowl to Seattle, and of course everybody was excited about this. But his mindset was always compete.
Yes.
And he wrote a book called Win Forever. And for me, this always compete is not about, killing the competition. It matters when you're a sports coach.
Yes.
But it's more about the mindset you bring every day to what you do. And thinking about being always better and always relentless about your pursuit for, improving. I have another expression for this, always compete. It's every day is an interview day. And people said, look at me and say, what do you mean?
I love that.
It's a mindset. It's about bringing your A game to every day, whether it's at work every day, you never know. You can get a phone call and you need to be on your A game immediately.
Absolutely.
So Pete Carroll is the second one. And the last one, I have to say, it's something that happened just a few days ago. And I don't know if you know Bill Walton. Bill Walton was an NBA star. And I didn't know much about Bill Walton until recently, but I know someone who knew Bill Walton extremely well. They worked together. Bill Walton was a superstar with the Portland Trail Blazers in Oregon. He brought an NBA title to the Blazers in 1974, I believe. But Bill also an amazing career after basketball. And he became a sports commentator. Yes. And he became very, very famous for his T-shirts, but also the way you approach, life after basketball. And for me, when I think about Bill, it's about fun. I read a lot about Bill since his passing last week. And I was really, really inspired by the way he thought about, life and fun after basketball. Yeah. So that would be my 3 guests.
And he played for the UCLA Bruins.
That's right.
So I love it. Can I come along to this dinner party? Maybe I can bring dessert.
Oh, please bring dessert or some French wine. From the Bordeaux region.
Yes, okay, that sounds great to me. Is this where we're going to be in the Southwest? Right?
We'll be in the Southwest. We'll have some very nice Cabernet or Merlot. Yes, that's where we'll be.
It sounds fascinating. So Laurent, I've so enjoyed having you as a guest here on Ultimate Guide to Partnering. I can't believe we're about to dive into the second half of the year, the first half of Microsoft's new fiscal year, 25. Wow. For our viewers and listeners watching today, and they all are going to aspire to be like Elastic, what would you say to them now to lean in? What do they need to do to optimize their success working with the hyperscalers, working with the tech giant?
I think there's 2 things that I think we have to focus on is generative AI. If you're not working on this today, customers are talking about this all the time. Yep. They don't necessarily know what they want to do with it, but they're asking for advice about what are the use cases that they can deploy for. So they can use Gen AI for. So I think number 1 is Gen AI. And at Elastic, it's proactive, right? With constant innovation, we we continue to make investments into integrations with hyperscalers. We announced more integrations with Microsoft last week at Microsoft Build, and we're going to continue investing in that space. So I think for partners is really think about how do you create incremental value around AI and generative AI. That's number one. But you can't do all of this, and that's probably the second priority without cloud. And I think that you need to think about helping customers as they transition to cloud,
Yes.
and the value that you can bring along the way. I think at Elastic, we're well positioned because we're already in the cloud world. We have, an Elastic Cloud offering. Yep. Customers can use us in an hybrid environment. But we also launched some new offerings, and we just launched a public preview of our serverless offering. That's going to make it even easier for customers to deploy Elastic. So if customers want to try Elastic today, they can go to elastic.co and sign up for a public preview of Elastic serverless. But I think for all partners, it's about Gen AI, and it's about cloud adoption and along the way.
And I'm reading constant innovation. You're in a constant innovation cycle at Elastic. That's what I'm hearing loud and clear from this conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So iterate, continue to pivot, continue to iterate, release.
Yep. And we have a platform for this. I think we've been building up this over the years. So I think our transition was pretty easier than other partners. But that's the new rule of the game, and it's a fantastic and exciting road ahead.
So we didn't ask this question, but I'm going to ask it now. Like, what is the secret sauce to getting to this award-winning partner? Like, what was there a secret sauce in the mix, or what really did you do differently that others didn't do?
I think it's a company-wide effort.
Yeah.
I always wait for the moment I'm going to get a Slack message from our CEO and says, why did we miss this announcement from Microsoft, Google Cloud, or AWS? Yeah. And it happened a few times. And I think this is this relentless focus on building the best possible engagement with all the cloud providers. And it starts from the C-suite, from the CEO, CPO, CFO, CSO, CRO. All of these functions are critical for our success. As I said, we operate across 3 pillars of build, market, and sell.
Yep.
But we also govern. We understand our mutual success and how we're going to measure it. We inspect the qualities of success, and we course correct when we need it. And we have a full commitment from the entire company to this. And I think that's not just partnerships today. As people say, well, it's the alliances team. At Elastic, it's the entire company.
It's the entire company. I love it. It's core to your mission.
100%.
Well, it has been a pleasure to have you as a guest on Ultimate Guide to Partnering.
Thank you.
So glad to have you join us here in Boca Raton for our event, and also to stay an extra day for our spotlight session. I want to thank our listeners and viewers for supporting Ultimate Guide to Partnering. I'm Vince Menzione, and as you know, my mission is to help leaders like you achieve your greatest results by having leaders like Laurent come to tell their story on how you can achieve your greatest results. If you like the podcast, please subscribe, and thank you again for your support, for listening, for watching the Ultimate Guide to Partnering. Thanks for listening to this episode of Ultimate Guide to Partnering. Hopefully this episode and all the episodes we've recorded are helping you better align your partner strategy to achieve your greatest results. So I want to ask you something. Have you implemented everything you've been learning? And are you now achieving the growth and revenue objectives that you hope to achieve? If not, it's time to take action now. Join Ultimate Partner Experience. We're building the community I've always dreamed about. With UPX, you get access to exclusive industry insights, unparalleled networking opportunities, tons of educational resources, and support from a community that shares your goals. Join us now. Visit our website, theultimatepartner.com, and sign up today.